warm welcome back, my lovelies. After much consideration and increased remuneration, I have decided to return for another round of ruckus reviews, and frankly, some pretty savage critiques on the lackluster monster hunting that is present in these movies that they are forcing me to watch. Now look, I am not saying that I would have done it better in every single circumstance, but I am, after all, your host, mostly retired, semi-professional vampire hunter, Lord Belmont Shores. Now, as somebody who is partial to the vampire hunting movies, I am very happy to announce that we will be beginning this season by stepping back into the Hammer's Dracula series with Dracula, Prince of Darkness. But before the film, we will be pausing for station identification and lubrication as we drink along with Father Sandor in what we have decided to call a POD. It's a little bit of a mulled claret. Should be delicious.
You down with POD?
Yeah, you know me.
Apparently, I'm not supposed to recommend this to you, but back in my day, we'd mix everything up, and then we'd warm it with the red-hot tip of a sword that we had burning in the fire. Ooh, that's mulled, baby. That's mulled. Enough! But yeah, why don't you guys just, go warm it up in a soup pot or something. Bunch of unarmed peasants.
Get to the movie.
Okay, so like most good movie sequels back in the day, or most TV shows, they'd kind of do a recap of what happened at the end of the last movie, previously on Dracula.
After a reign of hideous terror spanning more than a century, the king of the undead was finally traced to his lair high in the Carpathian Mountains.
So we get to see the fight between Van Helsing and Dracula from the first movie. Little left, little right. Then he jumps up and pulls the curtain down, sunlight to the face, boom! Turns him right into an ash muppet, blows away, that's it. Monster's dead, movie's over. Now, here we are 10 years later. And I gotta say, I'm very, very happy with these townspeople. They're doing everything right. Somebody dies, they got a stake through the heart and the head gets cut off just like it's a normal embalming or an autopsy. Just in case. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised at Father Sandor coming in here and breaking everything up and calling them a bunch of barbarians.
Barbarians?
We have to be sure.
You are an idiot, Father. Worse than that. You are a superstitious, frightened idiot.
Superstitious? It's like, did you not see the recap that we all just watched? It's only been 10 years. I mean, when is long enough? I don't know. This is not something you would easily forget or move on from. I mean, everybody's going to be obsessed about it still. Kids are going to be watching the made-for-TV movie. All the women are going to be listening to the true crime podcasts and talking about it during brunch. Your grandpa's going to be telling you where he was the day that Dracula died. It's, it's like when they killed Osama bin Laden, kind of, I guess. Yeah, why not? Why not? It's exactly like what I want.
Barbarians?
Sandor is definitely in the wrong for shutting him down. I mean, he just moved on. We could just go through airport security with our shoes on and a bunch of water bottles like it's nothing. What are you, some kind of a Dracula denier? Anywho, so we find ourselves inside the bar and we're meeting this lovely pair of couples that are traveling through the Carpathian Mountains. So we've got Alan and Helen and Charles and Diana. Not that Charles and Diana. Jody loves Chachi. And they're just, taking a little holiday. Charles seems like a really nice guy. He just bought 3 rounds of drinks for the bar.
But that was the third time you supplied everybody with drinks.
I know.
Straight from the manual, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I mean, anybody that buys me around, gotta be a good guy, right? Unless, of course, they're a blood-sucking vampire. Father Sandor shows up.
What can I fetch you, Father? I'll moan me some claret.
Father Sandor comes into the bar, insults everybody in the bar, puts his bare ass up against the fire, warms it up, gets drunk, and starts shit-talking everybody with a rifle hanging off his hip.
Ah, that's better.
Pretty gangster.
Fortunately, my calling still allows me the luxury of a warm posterior. One of the few pleasures left in life.
His big warning when he hears about our couple's travel plans is, stay away from the castle.
And when I tell you not to go to Carlsbad, I want you to take note.
I think you needed to be a little stronger.
Landlord?
So many things that you could have said to keep them away from that castle. For example, you could have just mentioned bed bugs. That's it. That's all you had to say. Bed bugs. Go to the castle, bed bugs. Nobody goes to the castle. No, you didn't even say that. You just strongly encourage them not to go. I don't know what they did to piss off their Uber driver, but literally they get right outside of Castle Dracula and he just stops, puts on the brakes, gets out, punches one of them, and then pulls a knife on them. They're stranded in the middle of nowhere. And then what happens? Oh, you get the club shuttle. That's right. The club shuttle just shows up and it's like, hey, we're going to the club. That really cool place that you heard about. We do not have bed bugs.
There's no driver.
Well, can we stop it? We can try.
They got one of these self-driving, horse-driven carriages, kind of like one of the, what do they call it, the new Teslas. So they finally get to the club, right? Castle Dracula. And they get out, and it's too perfect. I mean, they walk in, and it's like, dinner's ready.
If you are ready, I will serve dinner now.
Let me tell you something. I am generally not for familiars and people who do the bidding of evil, but I can also recognize that good help is hard to find. And Dracula really found himself a good helper in Clove. Front door's open. Red flag? No! You just had a courtesy shuttle pick you up. Of course the front door's gonna be open. Dinner's ready. Yeah, courtesy shuttle. Super dope Airbnb that everybody's trying to tell you isn't that cool because they want you to go to their crappy B&B. None of this really raises a red flag because you are under the perception that you've just stumbled onto one of the coolest clubs in the area. You got your guard down. You're not looking at red flags. One person is not amused by any of this, and that's Helen. And I gotta say, she's definitely listened to all the true crime podcasts and could have made a pretty good case if she didn't already establish herself as the enemy of fun.
Charles is far too extravagant.
A few shillings. We can afford it.
But that's not the point.
You've got your disapproving expression on again, Helen. What is it this time?
Enemy of fun. Because you've established yourself as the enemy of fun, nobody's gonna listen to your true crime wisdom when they need to.
He tried to warn us.
That's because he wanted us to go and visit him in Kleinberg.
If you were just a little bit iffy about this, who's gonna set you at ease? Clove.
My master is dead, but instructions were left that the castle should always be ready to receive guests. I am merely carrying out his wishes.
As far as hospitality goes, you can't do better than Clove. I know he's evil, but he's also really good at his job.
Who was your master?
His name was Count Dracula.
What am I talking about? I'm talking about Dracula.
That is the coat of arms over the fireplace.
I mean, did you see that thing? It's like a stalk of broccoli, 2 fish, a seashell, and like 2 squiggly lines.
Couple wavy lines.
Sorry.
Dracula would dick punch you if he saw that. That was totally the Transylvania Tourism Board. Hey, nobody's dying anymore. Look, we've totally changed our image. If anybody could sell that bullshit, it's Clove. Let's talk about the wall weapons. We got swords, we got halberds, we've even got rifles. I don't think we've seen rifles as wall weapons yet, but we got rifles. So after everybody finishes dinner, which was not drugged by the way, it would be too easy to drug the food. No, everybody goes off to bed.
What is it?
The middle of the night, you hear something. What is that? It's Clove. What's he doing? The best damn job you've ever seen, that's what he's doing. Mind your damn business. Rather than stay in bed with your wife, you're gonna go follow Clove into the basement. Slaughter preparation commence. Clove kills Alan, strings him up, guts him like a pig, and resurrects Dracula from the grave using his blood. And then Helen goes downstairs, and what we see can be mistaken by many as a look of sheer terror, but it's not. That is the face of I told you so. It sucks being right all the time. What do you get? What do you get for being right? You get turned into the undead, that's what you get. We see Helen try to take a little bite out of Diana. Dracula shows up. Hands off. That was mine. Then we see Charles come in here. Dracula has no problem with his new vampire bride trying to go for Charles. Yeah, you take him. I want nothing to do with that. I like to drink from the ladies. I gotta say, that's one thing that Dracula and I have in common. Charles makes great use of the wall weapons, and I'd love to see this. You got wall weapons, might as well use them. However, the weapon that he takes down is primarily a thrusting weapon. Keep the business end of the sword pointed towards your opponent. As soon as he pulls the sword back, Dracula moves forward, blocks it. Now we're wrestling. Oh, you don't want to be doing that. And finally, Charles is now able to do something useful with the sword. He picks up the two pieces that Dracula broke in half, and he forms a cross with it. Do you know who crosses don't work on? Clove, who almost gets the better of him. But Charles is able to fight his way out, hit him with the butt of the hilt, and they hightail it out of the castle. Gets in a horrible accident. I'm talking like, movie should be over. They're both thrown from the carriage, messed them up pretty bad. And then he's just doing that like carrying her through the woods sort of thing. And just happens to come across Father Sandor. Father Sandor takes Charles and Diana back to the monastery, where the monks are extra monkey. We get introduced to a character, which is basically Renfield. I mean, a little bit of a raving lunatic who likes to eat bugs, but other than that, generally a nice guy. They're like, come live with us. So he's got some confidence, this guy, I gotta say. Come look at my work. Hey, is it exquisite or merely magnificent?
Exquisite or merely magnificent?
Exquisite.
I mean, that's the kind of comment card I leave women after I make love. Check one box, please. All right, so now Vampire Helen is at Diana's window, and she's knocking on the window, and she's like, I'm cold, you gotta let me in. And of course, what's the first thing that happens when you open the window? She goes and takes a bite out of her arm. Diana doesn't actually get saved by Father Sando. She kind of gets saved by Dracula, who once again is being a total dick. No, that's mine. You can't have any. Like, if you send somebody into the drive-thru to pick up food for you, you can't be mad at them for eating a couple of French fries on the way home. That is their right. Just been bitten by this vampire. What does he do? He literally takes the candle, holds her arm over the flame, and he puts her arm right over it. You remember that scene in Lethal Weapon? Mr. Joshua, your arm. So now, they're searching the grounds. They finally find Helen, and they drag her inside. And he's like, want to see me kick some ass?
Want to see me kick some ass?
No, he doesn't say that.
If you wish to see the destruction of the horror spawned by Count Dracula, come with me.
Want to see me kick some ass? Do you have the stomach to watch what has to be done? What has to be done? Oh, is it the very thing you stopped the townspeople from doing in the beginning of the movie? But no, you guys, you don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. We got a bunch of monks holding the vampire down, and it's hammer time. All right, so Dracula busts in. You can tell he's excited because you got all the blood rushing to his eyes. You know, it's like the Dracula erection. All right, so we got the Renfield, and he is convincing Diana to go follow him. What does she do? The smart thing. Puts on the crucifix. Goes into the other room. Dracula's there. He's like, all right, I know I can't do anything while you got that on, so take it off. He does like the little, take it off. Just take it off, baby. Take it off. And she does! Moron! Vampire glamour is a strong thing, I knew, but... Okay, now where were we? Oh yeah, interesting plan being laid out here. We got Father Sando in the war room. Sandor, I've been calling him Father Sando the whole time. Like he's a sandwich. Anyway, all right. Father Sandor. One of the smartest things that I saw Father Sandor do was delegate authority. And by that, I mean giving the gun to Charles.
It would be better if you kept this. It's your rifle. You're used to it.
No. We will not be shooting animals, Mr. Kent. Clove is a human being. I may bend the laws of my office at times, but there is a limit to what even I will do.
I can only bend the rules of my station so much, but really, he did it for legal reasons. And I'll tell you, when you murder an actual person, it's kind of hard to tell the local law enforcement that they were evil. Yeah, that stuff will kind of land you in jail. So you can really delegate that to one of your helpers. Best to do that. Finally catch up to the carriage, they stop it, they get out. We get Charles with the rifle, and Clove, he's like, hey, it's cool, man. Yeah, I'll get down. He did bring a knife to a gunfight, but he went out swinging.
Come on, Mr. Kent.
We got Father Sandor and Charles right behind him in pursuit, and they just totally crash. And we got one coffin staying on, one coffin sliding down this hill, and onto what? A frozen lake that just happens to be right outside the castle. Oh, did I mention it was winter? Yeah. She grabs the gun. Father Sandor, he's just kind of a naysayer. He just sits around doing nothing.
Why don't you shoot him?
It will do no good, my dear.
Oh, no, let me take credit for that. Yep, that was me. I'll take the gun now. Yeah, you just hand the gun over to me since, I know how to work it. No, you guys, you don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. Running water.
Running water.
I'm a little bit shady on the whole running water thing. It happened to work here. And I'm talking like a stroke of luck that would make Van Helsing blush. They just happen to be on top of a frozen lake of running water. He ends up putting a couple of well-placed rounds around Dracula, and it cracks out the ice perfectly, so he's just on this tiny little ice island, and then sinks. So what we see is Dracula kind of getting sucked underneath the ice, and we just see this face that's just like, ooh. And that's it. Now, again, we talked about follow-through. You could stake him, you can cut off his head, you could dry him off and then light him on fire. So many things you could do. You could even just drag him into the sunlight, which begs the question, wouldn't the sunlight just go through the ice and burn him up? So we basically leave Dracula like Jason Voorhees at the end of Friday the 13th, part 6, bottom of the lake. We just leave Dracula there. I guess job well done. Your wife's not a vampire. Yeah, your brother and your sister-in-law, dead. Not the best way to spend a vampire weekend. So we got some good takeaways from this one. Improvise across. Now, Charles, not very good using a sword. I would recommend everybody takes at least a beginning fencing class. Learn the business end of your weapon. Life breaks your sword, you improvise across. Number 2, ruin the casket. Father Sando finds the caskets, throws a crucifix in each one to make sure that they're completely useless. And number 3, burn out the impurities. We see Diana gets a little bite, a little vampire bite on the arm. You pull over the candle, you put it over, you burn out the impurities with fire. Takeaway number 4, don't be so gullible. I don't know. I mean, I know vampires have that the glamour power, but you actually had the wherewithal and the mindset to put the crucifix on. Maybe don't take it off. It's not spring break. Don't take it off. Takeaway number 4, don't get hypnotized. Takeaway number 5, bullets work on people. And if we're gonna do a side note to 5, if you could delegate the people killing to someone else, do that for legal reasons. That was a good move by Father Sandor. I gotta say, I did like this movie. Father Sandor is just a trash-talking, gun-toting, heavy-drinking, vampire-killing, holy relic-wearing machine. And I gotta love him for it. If I had to rate this movie, which you're telling me I do, I think I'd give it 7 frozen bullets. Yeah, 7 frozen bullets. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you guys were able to watch this. I hope you guys learned something. I can't wait to see you guys next time, where we will watch another one of these movies, and more importantly, have another drink. So until next time. Nah, you guys, you don't know how to do it. I know how to do it.